Alright, it's number 50. It's the last one of our second to the last section before we get to the last bit of Elvis's career. We're almost to the end of this box set. In fact, we have just 10 albums left after this one. And this is actually a really good place to leave off for right now. This is Elvis. I had talked a little bit earlier about if you had the three albums in Elvis's catalog that are just called Elvis. I actually pulled these out. Elvis from 1956, Elvis from 1968, and Elvis from 1973. If you had these three in the configuration that they are on this box set, like if you just picked these three and gave them some, like loaned them out, like you had this box set and you loaned them out to somebody, be a very strong case for Elvis as a performer, because they cover completely wildly different versions of what he was capable of doing as an artist and as a vocalist. This one in particular, a lot of people are on the fence about this album to this day. Much like his second to the last album, the songs are very downbeat. They're not very happy, and not in the way that they were on Back in Memphis or much of the 69 sessions. Those were topically kind of downbeat songs, but Elvis was throwing his all into them, and they seem, because they're produced so well and they're performed so well, they come off almost more cheery and more emotional that way. This is clearly, obviously, inspired by his recent divorce. And every song on here, Fool, Where Do I Go From Here? It's Impossible. It's Still Here. I Will Be True. I'll Take You Home Again, Kathleen. That's What You Get for Loving Me, Padre. Don't Think Twice, It's Alright. Love Me, Love the Life I Lead. This is Elvis working through some stuff. There are bonus tracks on this that include Burning Love and some of the singles from around this time, which is why I say in this configuration it would make sense paired with those other two. Without Burning Love, that's a little harder, because he was very much, I mean, you could still pull a good rock and roll performance out of him the rest of his life. Like, there are songs that I'll point to, but I had this one on vinyl for a long time, and I liked a few select songs off of it. I do like Fool. I do like That's What You Get for Loving Me. Really like Don't Think Twice, It's Alright. I mean, that's a Bob Dylan song. But it can be kind of a rough set. And I always thought that the mixes were very sort of muddy or flat. Not clear at all. So listening to this again, I actually find it quite difficult to listen to all these songs. Not because they're bad, but this is one of those albums I think should be listened to as a whole. Because tonally it's all very similar. And even the upbeat stuff, like Don't Think Twice, It's Alright, you get that vibe. And it works very well as an album. But I can see where some Elvis fans would not like the sort of vibe that it puts off, which is very depressed. But hearing it again and actually sitting down and listening to it with the crisp clearness of compact disc, it sounds better than I remembered, and it holds up a lot better than I remembered. And I actually really I do like this album. It's not one of my favorites. Certainly not in even the top 10 of my favorite Elvis albums or the best Elvis albums. But I think this is very underrated. In fact, I don't believe that they've put out a legacy version of this, and I don't know what they would necessarily pair that with if they did. Um, but this is better than I remembered, and I would say give it a chance if you can find it. Sit and listen to this one night on your own, and try to wipe away perspective of, it's Elvis, the king of rock and roll, and he should be doing rockabilly, and he should be doing rock and roll. Like, sit and take it from the point of view of a guy singing his heart out. This is actually quite good. So that's Elvis. That's number 50. Technically, we only have 7 more left before we're done. Because the last 3 discs in the set are actually compilations of rarities and things. So we don't have much left to go. And these last 7 are particularly interesting because there are a lot of fans that starting with this one, they write off this entire section of his career. They don't pay it any attention. They think that he was losing it, that he was out of touch, and that the record company didn't know what they were doing, in particular. I would tend to agree with that sentiment. The record company did not know what they were doing. We'll get to that when we get into this next section. But there have been releases in the last 3 years, I guess, 3 years, that have put a new light on the period from 1974 to 1977, and I like the way that they've been represented, because they've allowed us as Elvis fans to reassess things that we maybe written off. So, but that's all for this next section. So we're coming up on August 16th, and I couldn't think of a better place to end for today. So, all right, see you around.